I ended up in architecture because as soon as I found out it was a career, I was like, okay, yep, it's that. So I've wanted to be an architect since probably late elementary school. You never stop learning. There's always more to find out. And even after 50 years, no one knows nearly everything. And so with each co-op and each experience I've had, I just kind of unlock more levels of what I do know and can do by my own, basically. I think being in Boston to study architecture is really great. Without going far from campus, you can experience a lot of different typologies of architecture. I think that's really beneficial. Architectural education is actually really different from architecture in practice. And in school, it's a lot more design focused and theory focused so that you can learn to be that critical thinker. Whereas in an actual office, you do a lot more of the execution and a bit more of the behind the scenes, gritty work. And I don't think that's a fault of architecture school at all. I think it has to be that way. But there is a slight disconnect between classes and experience, but I think co-op is what helps you bridge that gap because you're finding that out in your third year of school, not after 5 years of school. And so when you go on co-op, you're introduced to these new things, but then they start to weave together a bit more and you can bring that back into the classroom. And then again, on your second co-op, you learn more things. My main project is 2 buildings within a 4-building complex. When completed, it'll be lab and office space. My part on that project is working on just specific drawings. So I worked on elevations of the buildings and marking them up and annotating them, and even more specific, just the curtain walls themselves on the elevations of the buildings. The course that has definitely been the most impactful for me at Northeastern has been my urbanism studio in 4th year. That's where you step back from the architectural scale a little bit and look at a whole area. And so we were focused on an area in Boston about a mile from the Center Street T-stop, and we were able to dig in and analyze the neighborhood, analyze the spatial relationships. And it allowed me to look at the neighborhood with a more socioeconomic and political lens, and really zoomed in my project on that. I focused on food insecurity along Washington Street throughout Roxbury. And so it really didn't have anything to do with buildings, but it was still very architecture because it was solving this problem that is so social, but with physical intervention. And that was super rewarding and has kind of allowed me to shift my focus to more of that sociocultural lens. A lot of my professors at Northeastern have been working architects, and I find that extremely helpful in a studio setting because while architectural education is very design and theory based, it allows you to not get too far from the real world because they're there half their time also.